How's everyone doing, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, someone's asked me to do a video about the story about Ian Brady's ashes as supposed to be like his funeral. His ashes are supposed to be scattered on Saddleworth Moor. Right, guys, Brady cut contact with me last year, right? Now, I just want to clear a few things up. Yeah, I didn't want to do this video. Someone just asked me, and being a polite person that I am, I'm happy to do the video, no problem. Now, like I say, it's been reported that the coroner at Southport, fucking coroner's office, has said that Brady's body's not going to be released until there's assurances that Brady's ashes are not going to be spread on Saddleworth Moor. Now, I know a few things about this through obviously writing to Brady and stuff. Like I say, I'd like to keep reiterating, I never ever once would condone Brady's crimes, guys. Guy was a sick freak, yeah, man, right? Just because I wrote to him, don't confuse intrigue and interest with support, guys. Never ever, right? Like I say, I had a aim and an agenda when I wrote to Brady. The aim, honestly, to see if because all these people that were writing to Brady, right, were academics, right? And Brady was particular who he responded to. He didn't just reply to anyone and everyone. They had to interest him or intrigue him to some extent or to reply, right? And you see him corresponding with like professors of criminology and stuff like that. I'm an uneducated street kid from Manchester, right? Former criminal, guys, been involved with gangsters, gangland, all that sort of stuff, right? So I thought if I came at Brady from the perspective of a criminal, right, that I might be able to get further with him, right? And that's why I wrote to him, right? So all the haters that are slagging me off and everything, guys, right? There was an aim and an agenda behind my writing to Brady, right? Like I say, I corresponded with Brady quite a bit, and we wrote to each other. He'd ask me for envelopes and DVD. Well, he didn't even ask me for DVD. I just started sending him DVDs and Schaefer pen refills and all this stuff. Why, guys? Because I was trying to keep him sweet, right? Because I wanted information from him. It's as simple as that. Now, like I say, Brady, just through conversing with him and stuff in these letters, became to trust me. That's quite clear. Now, Brady sent me a letter where he brought his solicitors into it. Like, the letter was going to go to his legal team, right? And the reason was I mentioned to Brady that at the time I was involved in the criminal underworld, and that me and like some of my criminal associates and like gangsters and stuff, right, that I knew, we offered to provide security at the funeral, right? Now, we was never going to do security at Brady's funeral, guys, right? That's a fact, right? But I just put the offer out there to see what he'd say. If you don't lead a question, you're not going to get the answer. So I asked a question. I asked many questions, right? Some he answered, some he didn't, right? Now, Brady came back and stated that he's going to be when the time comes, when he eventually dies, that he's going to be cremated. Everything's been with his legal executors and stuff down in London, right? They're a London-based firm, right? And his body obviously goes to the coroner, because obviously like that's normally like that's what happens and stuff. And then the plans are already in place for Brady. Brady's going to return to Scotland, and he's going to be cremated, and his ashes is going to be spread in Scotland, back in Glasgow, back in his native Glasgow. For those that don't know, Ian Brady was born in Glasgow, in the Gorbals district, which was like a slum district of Glasgow and stuff. He went to Shawlands Academy School and all this sort of stuff. He worked on the docks in the shipping yard and stuff. That's all public knowledge. But like I say, the idea that he's asked for his ashes to be scattered over Saddleworth Moor, guys. if someone can show me some hard evidence, I'll believe it, guys. But no. Even though Brady was sick in the head and sick, depraved individual, right? Like I say, his crimes are despicable, and his crimes will always define him as a man. He's the purification, guys, of evil. But like I say, when I wrote to him and stuff, I became invested because I invested a lot of time, effort, and money, guys, corresponding with Brady and stuff, sending him DVDs and letters and all these sorts of things, and like Schaefer pen refills, stamped addressed envelopes, everything else that came with it, guys. It came at a cost and stuff. It was an expensive interest to have. And like I say, I honestly believe that coming from my angle of a criminal, not being a criminologist or a professor of criminology or a psychology student or anything like that, that I'd have a chance. Now, I got to know Brady, if you will, in a different light to I think anyone else. Everyone came at him with an agenda. Well, I had an agenda, didn't I? I was trying to find out where Keith Bennett's body was. But like I say, the aim was to keep him sweet, keep him on side, and then I could get the information that I needed and stuff. But you can't just jump in and start asking him questions and stuff, like interrogation, because he would have just cut me dead. So I had to talk about me, crime, Manchester, people that I was associated with, the fact I've been into Strangeways prison where he was on remand. Where he was on remand, he started to study bookkeeping. He went to the library, the same library that I read about Brady and Strangeways, up on the floors in the rotunda, right? And Brady learnt bookkeeping because he was on remand for theft. He got out, he carried on studying bookkeeping. Guess what, guys? Got a job at an accountancy firm down in Lachey. Who worked there? Myra Hindley. And then we all know what happened there, guys, right? But yeah, like I say, people are slagging me, guys, for writing to Brady. Now, guys, I don't condone his crimes. Never once have I said I condone his crimes. He's a sick freak, right? And if I was ever in prison with the man, I would have gone at him, right? But like I say, he would have been on the VP wing and everything else. But like I say, he ended up in Ashworth and everything else, guys, right? I don't condone his crimes in any way, shape or form, guys. I really, really didn't, right? I was sort of hoping that, as naive as I was, that I could be the one that gets the information about the location of Keith Bennett's body, right? Obviously, it never came to fruition. Brady wrote something in a letter that I keep running my eye over, and I believe that it will be a new line of inquiry for the police. Normally, I wouldn't speak to the police on the matter and stuff, but I'm going to contact them and just see what they say. But apparently in the past, when people contacted the police, the Greater Manchester Police have been very dismissive of it. Now, the police are saying that we're never going to close the case on Keith Bennett. Right, that's all fine and dandy, guys, but the fact is, now, with all the media attention and stuff, take it away from Brady, guys. Let's get back on the search for Keith Bennett and Keith Bennett's body. I honestly believe that Brady wrote to me and was directing me to a certain area, right? That's just my opinion. The way he describes a certain place and a certain thing and what they went there to do. I believe personally that's a line of inquiry and stuff. And like I say, I've always been a criminal first, but I actually, even though I've come out of the criminal world now, I definitely would think it would be something that the police need to know about. So I'm going to contact them. But yeah, in relation to Brady and guys saying all this stuff about his ashes are going to be spread up on Saddleworth Moor, bullshit. Unless someone comes at me with some hard evidence where they say, oh, Brady said in a letter that his stuff's going to... No, absolute rubbish, guys. He wants to go back to Glasgow, right? He's always wanted to go back to Glasgow. But the thing is, where he was on control and everything, when he ended up in prison for the murders, he lost control. Right, but then he tried to use the location as more of the 5 victims' bodies were found. Obviously, he had less and less to play with in the way of control and power, because the police in that instance and the families of the victims, right, they wanted information, right, where the location was, so they could repatriate the bodies of the victims, of course. But Brady, as it was taken away from him little by little, there was only one piece, guys, and that was obviously Keith Bennett's body. Now, Brady's a narcissist, right? He's very dominant, he's very controlling, likes to be in charge of the situation, right? Even when he wrote right? Sometimes it'd take weeks to reply. Sometimes thinking, you never knew, guys. It was like he had the power, because if he didn't want to reply, he wouldn't. Sometimes he wouldn't reply for weeks, sometimes months. Then he would, and then he'd just pop up out of the blue. Like I say, it was on his terms, guys, when he wrote to me and stuff like that. I wasn't in control. He was in control. Now, with Keith Bennett's body and stuff, the location, Brady was the only one with that piece of information. Myra Hindley obviously died. She was cremated, and her ashes are actually spread in a park between Ashton and Staley Bridge in Stamford Park, guys. That's where Myra Hindley's ashes have been spread. Do I think Brady's ashes are going to go there? No. I think Brady wants to go back to Scotland, back to Glasgow. Like I say, again, it's Brady's last wish. He's in control again, even in death, he's in control. He wants to go back to Scotland, right? And like I say, he took the location of Keith Bennett's body with him, sadly, because like I say, that was his last bit of power. Everything was taken away from him. That was the last bit of power he had, right? Because he knew that the police, the media, and anyone who's followed the case of the Moors murderers and stuff, and their victims, right, would want that information, guys. So he withheld it. And there's all this, the secret letters and all this, guys, Keith Bennett's body, right, Brady took that to the grave with him, right? But like I say, I do believe that in a letter to me and other people, possibly, like I say, at the late stage that he came to, he wasn't reading much, he wasn't writing much, he always apologised for his bedridden handwriting. But yeah, guys, Brady did ask me, I offered me and the criminal underworld, if you will, right, not everyone of the criminal underworld, but certain people that I knew, to do security at his funeral, right? Now, Brady accepted the offer and said it would be exceptional in the historical and exceptional circumstances, right? And he accepted my offer. We was never going to do security at his funeral, guys, never, right? Like I say, I asked the question, right? But would he have liked the criminal underworld to be in there, me and the lads and stuff that I knew or that I used to associate with there? Then yes, Brady would have liked that, yeah, of course. He wanted to keep the media out, guys, because obviously the media would have been all over it, like they would have been everywhere. But yeah, like I say, it was just... So yeah, Brady did want that criminal fraternity, certain people to be there, guys, yeah. And that's me and other people that I used to be associated with. Like I say, the offer was a fake one, because I was never going to do it. But I wanted to see what he said, and he said, yeah, right? The fact is, Brady's body should be burned, it should be put on a bonfire and fucking burnt, right? And people, like I say, it's just one of them things, guys. That's my honest opinion. But yeah, Brady's body, guys, he's going to be cremated, and then either his ashes or his body will be going back to Scotland, and then he's gonna go back to Glasgow, where he wanted to go. So all this nonsense about his ashes were going to be spread over Saddleworth Moor, guys. Take it with a pinch of salt. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it here anyway. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, guys. Like I say, at this time, I think I went up to Saddleworth Moor today. I laid flowers. I didn't lay flowers for Brady. I laid flowers for the victims, right? And I also apologised on Brady's behalf, because he never did himself, did he? So yeah, that's just pretty much, that was me trying to, like, I don't know, it was a weird one. But like I say, guys, while Keith Bennett's body's out there and stuff, I think that the people need to revive the search for Keith Bennett's body, and so that, like, even though Winnie Johnson, God bless her, passed away in August of 2012, I think it'd bring peace to her soul if Keith's body was found, and like, I don't know if she was buried or cremated or not, but that he can go back to his mum. Right, yeah, guys, on that note, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Hope this video has answered the questions for those that have asked the question. I'm going to leave it here, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay safe, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.